Hey everybody, Billy Bob here, and we are here for previewing the championship and a whole lot more. And let's get right to it. I'm going to best special guest Eric Buckeye Boggs. Let's see, there he is. Can you hear me, Boggsy?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can. Look at that. Damn. So, folks, just for you guys out there watching us on Facebook, I'm not sure about on YouTube, but we're about 10-second delay. So that way, if I say any bad words, they get bleeped. So, hey, Boggsy, I got a question here. So I'm looking, I got this shirt on, and the last time you and I were on, you talked about your beard. And I'm like, what happened between here and now?
Uh, I don't know. Wisdom? Did I get a
Yeah,
little wiser?
you got a litl wiser, a little whiter. You know you can color it in the same
Well,
way.
I did last year after we won the national championship.
Yeah,
I went and got some Ryan Day jet black beard and
there we go.
dyed my beard live on a call-in show.
Oh, I did. Now I miss. Where was I? Where was
I
I?
don't know.
I
It
don't know.
was absolutely hilarious. It was probably one of the dumber things I've ever done in my life. My wife thought it was hilarious. I ended up shaving my beard the next day, and I had to use one of her stones because my skin was dyed black, and I had to like scrub my. Oh, it was
Well,
not good.
you put it on for a while. You don't put it on and leave it on, Bugs. You put it on until it like gets semi-dry, and then you wash it off. You got it. I mean, read the label, read the
Oh,
box.
I read it. It
Yeah,
was just a
Ryan
bad.
Days. Go ahead.
It was just a bad. It was a bad experience for me, but I would do it again if we could go back to back.
Ryan Day's championship beard, literally. So,
Yes.
hey, so I don't know if you've seen Yeti is going to come out with some sports themed, uh, what do you call these bottles, whatever. And so the one that they showed that they're coming out with for the Buckeyes is white. I'm going to have to post it and put mine right next to it and say, now what's the better look? Now, this one is a whole lot cheaper than the one they're going to sell because I did it myself. I bought the I bought the blue or the red. Oh, blue. Yeah, go down blue. I have a plunger over here. I don't know, but we won with humility,
Hmm.
right? So that's where I'm going to be. I'm humble. I'm a humble bumble, as they would say in Rudolph, which was on last night, by the way. So, not impressed that Rudolph was on last night.
Oh, I was actually watching Kennesaw State and Jacksonville State. Was a crazy game last night, but yeah, I knew it was on. We joked on our um, Patreon over there that we would watch Rudolph if the game got too boring, but never did. It was actually a really exciting game.
I did not see who won. Did Kennesaw State win that game?
Kennesaw State came back and won. Yeah, in
I
the
just
last minute of the game.
I just drove right by that university on Monday, coming back home from Cincinnati. So the black and yellow of
Yeah,
Kennesaw State. We sold
the
them some vehicles over the years,
Owls. They're the Owls.
kind of like Lane Kiffin's old team, like twice removed.
Yeah, Florida
The
Atlantic, right?
FAU. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So hey, before we get into the game, um, folks, we want to talk about a couple other things. First of all, I wanted to have Boggsy talk about what's going on with the OHIO podcast. There have been so many things going on lately, including now Boggsy is paying himself
Yeah,
theoretically. He's not, he doesn't have the go to everyday job, correct?
correct.
All right, so I'm going to give you the stage. Tell everybody what's going on with the podcast, Patreon, membership, programming. It's all you.
So after 7.5 years at Mastermind, where I had worked with, which was a safety and software company working with DOTs and county engineers, doing their safety studies for them, I I realized I had gotten to a place where spending 16 hours a day working, eight 8 to 9 on the job and then another, 6 to 7 at home on my podcast was no longer attainable. It just wasn't. And it was started out as a hobby. The hobby turned into a passion, and the passion has become a life's work. And um, it was not going to be easy. It's still not easy. I'm making a lot less than what I was before, but I'm also a lot happier. And we're doing something great, and we have a great business model and a business plan, and we're doing it one person at a time. So um, decided to jump with Sarah's permission. Um,
It's always important, Bugsy.
yeah, I had saved some money up and given myself a little cushion to fall back on for a couple months, and we jumped. And the OHIO podcast is now my full time job. So some would say, "What do you call yourself?" I'm a business owner. The OHIO podcast is not just a YouTube channel, so I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not a content creator, although I do both those things. I run a business, and that business is involved in the building of a community for Ohio State fans. That is what I am in the business of. And we started a Patreon channel. Patreon is a place where we can hang out, and you can basically pay me if you find the value in what we do. Um, it's a little less, I guess you could say Patreon is a little less, a little more free. Let's just put that. You have more freedom. Where YouTube is very much constrictive on what you can and cannot do, what you can and cannot say, and you're always looking over your shoulder at when the next YouTube strike will happen. And since YouTube is now using AI in their algorithm to go over content, that is not perfect, and it will flag things that AI does not understand. Their AI web crawlers do not understand context. It doesn't understand humor, and you can get demonetized for no reason at all. So Patreon is a way to help do that, plus prevent that from happening. Because if in case you were to lose your YouTube channel and you still had this Patreon community that was helping you, it would benefit you greatly. So we started to build that. Nowhere near as Patreon um, going to sustain my lifestyle, but it helps. It helps. Now the plan is to one day get enough people joined over on Patreon to where it will pay for one of us, and then I can bring on a second, bring on an employee, and then we have two people full time, and then build it from there. Um, this is just the starting phases of what we have envisioned for the company. I've been working with Ryan Miller, former Ohio State Buckeye cousin of mine, helps run Second and Seven, owns a marketing company. We made a business model. We're working on that. Um, we have Bart joined the company. He owns Vassals 2.0, which is a merchandising company in Bucyrus, Ohio. So we have merchandise now that we're going to be promoting and doing a lot more with in the future beyond the OHIO podcast. And then on top of that, we have the website. The website is doesn't make us any money right now, but the plan is to hopefully get credentialed. If we were to get credentialed, then hopefully we'll be able to bring more eyeballs to the website, which will entice more sponsorship money. And then 2 weeks ago, it was made official on December 1st, so 6 days ago, and the first implementation of it happened yesterday. We are now the official Ohio State podcast of Gamut Media. Gamut Media owns 4 radio stations in Cincinnati who will be promoting the OHIO podcast in commercial form on their radio programming, and will be working with me on increasing our subscribers and listenership from a marketing standpoint and helping us in that area as well. So I get a free coach. They go out and get all my sponsorships for me, and we split the revenue 50-50. That's never
Nice.
happened before since we started in 2019. So for the first time ever, we're making money, Billy Bob, and so is it where it needs to be? No. Am I getting a little nervous? Slightly, but I have tremendous faith in Buckeye Nation, our fans, and this week we saw tremendous growth on the video side of things. So it is working.
Well, great. That's awesome. And then, so I'm looking at myself and I'm like, dude, you forgot to put your eye drops in. I got like these PIs, red eyes. Oh my God. We're vain. I know you always say, if you don't want to look at me, listen to me on, listen to you guys on Spotify or Apple or wherever. But
Right.
uh, so that kind of, so that was a great synopsis. Appreciate that. And anybody out there looking for great Ohio State content, um, go to the OHIO podcast. You can get them on Facebook. You can still get them on YouTube, but ideally, you would want to go to Patreon. You can do some membership there. It's low cost membership. There's a whole lot of stuff coming your way. You'll get it notifications by email, as well as other forms if you want. But that way, if some exactly have time to look at or read in your email, you can go back, you can click on it, it takes you to Patreon, you can read the article, you can watch the video. And in matter of fact, I actually watched this morning on YouTube. I listened while I was riding my bicycle. The IU preview with Sam, so the Hoosier Huddle, which was interesting, by the way. But I don't know that he lent a lot more to it than what you and you and Chris had covered prior to getting Sam on. There were some other little insights in there, and the Woody or Woodney, which we'll keep for later. I'll let you disclose one of your final questions to him as we get into the game. But it leads me into, with your programming, something you started here just a few weeks ago, and that is doing the Ryan Day press conference. So where some people could just go watch the press conference, listen to Ryan Day. But in your case, you've got it where you can listen to the press conference and you can pause it. And then you and Chris or some of the people commenting can interject, and then you can pick up right where the press conference left off. So I think that, as I told you in my comments, Eric, I did not think it was something that I was going to like, because I just wanted to watch the press conference, right? And it's kind of like I don't watch Eli and Peyton doing their little commentary during the game. But after I said I'm going to give it a go, if I never watch it, I won't know if I like it. I watched it or listened to it because I was actually at Planet Fitness, and I liked it. So there you go. There's an endorsement for Ryan Day's press conferences. You can go to YouTube, Facebook, Patreon, and Ryan Day's press conferences are Tuesday at noon. I would guess, Eric, you come on somewhere around 11:30, quarter to 12.
We usually start at about 11:50.
Okay,
We do a quick, here's what I would like to hear asked. Sometimes it gets asked. Sometimes it gets asked differently than what I would ask it.
right.
Sometimes it gets ignored for whatever reason. And then, of course, we do react in real time to what Ryan Day is talking about. And we can pause, like you said, and give an initial, here's what I think he was meaning by this, or that was really interesting. And here's what I came to my mind about that. And then we interact with the chat as well. So the chat can chime in with their thoughts on that particular topic as well. We don't do it on every question. Sometimes we'll go 3, 4 questions
Right.
and responses in a row, and before we pause again. Usually, Ryan Day's press conference is about 30 minutes long. The whole show combined is usually somewhere around an hour to an hour and 10 minutes when you interject and you have the pre and post.
Although he cut it pretty short on
He did.
Wednesday's signing day. So, hey, for everybody out there watching, just a quick note. Um, I'm seeing that people are coming on and watching. For whatever reason, I'm not seeing comments. I don't know. I do have my phone here, so I'm monitoring on Facebook. So for any questions, but I don't know if you're monitoring, Eric, if there's something that, or if
I
anybody out.
I'm not. I can if you need me to.
Well, I see people watching. I haven't seen any comments, which is kind of unusual. I usually swipe one way or the other. Of course, Patrick Green is off doing some volunteer work for the church, and that. So usually Patrick or LD. I don't see LD on here yet. Foxy Bob, my brother, and the Dinger, Brad Oberding, who you brought to the backyard barbecue, and now Brad comes and hangs out at tailgates with us, and of course, Mrs. Billy Bob is on. But so that Wednesday, I talked about it was pretty quick this past Wednesday. There was a lot of stuff happening, a lot of moving parts on the fly. But signing day, you did it. You were on for about 4.5 hours. You and Mika Hanna. Mika,
Yeah.
which great story. Mika, I'd never hadn't really listened to her much. Shame on me. She's got the Illuminati show on
Yes.
the podcast,
It's
right?
a great name.
Yeah, Illuminati. I guess that's a spinoff of Illuminati.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know what Illuminati is. Is that a movie or a show or what?
Illuminati is like a secret society.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
she's
so it's a pun off of basically tinfoil hat wearing, conspiracy theorists and us crazy Buckeye fans, and we combined the two and made it
yeah,
Illuminati. Yeah, I thought it was a great name. She
it
came
is.
up with it on her own. I came up with the logo for the design. And yeah, definitely worth a listen. She's a special gal, huge Buckeye fan. Uh, born with born She was the smallest baby in the history of Ohio at the time when she was born.
1 pound,
Um,
14 ounces, if I remember her story correctly
yeah,
the other day.
under 2 pounds,
Yeah.
and born with I believe multiple sclerosis,
Cerebral palsy,
cerebral
I
palsy.
believe.
Thank you,
I
thank
think
you.
believe she said CP. Yep.
Yeah,
I
I
try
was
and
thinking.
listen to your show,
Yeah,
Eric. I
I was
try and
thinking
pay.
MS in my head, and I was like, I
No,
don't think
that's
that's
okay.
it.
That's okay. But yes, it was a great story, and it is actually at Ohio State University Hospital where
Hmm.
she was right, and she credited
Yep.
them with saving her life.
She
Yeah.
is a incredibly intelligent, charming, lovely lady. And the thing about her is she loves Ohio State recruiting. That is her cup of tea. She knows more about Ohio high school football players than just about anybody I know. She is a wealth of knowledge. She spends her day watching film and watching interviews with these guys, learning who these players are. And signing day was her day to shine. That was her day.
Oh yeah.
Um, just just a wealth of knowledge. And so we put a lot of hard work into that show. The show was going great, and then it just got derailed, and we had to completely do a 180 on what we were doing. We were a little bit flabbergasted. We finished the show strong, I thought. But shout out to Mika for 4.5 hours of podcasting. She goes, Podfather, that's what she calls me. Podfather, I don't know if I can do this. I'm like, oh, we'll be fine. We've got this covered. Between her and Buck Vader working the phones and texting me and keeping me informed as a producer of that show, I thought the show went off pretty well without much of a hitch. I think we ended up somewhere around, I don't know, was it 4 or 5 thousand viewers?
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah, it was a very good, uh, yeah, very good show when it was all said and done.
I know at one point Mika said that, oh, my screen's going dark. I've never been on my laptop this long, and I wanted to just like say, Mika, go to your settings and maybe I don't know, but go to your settings and try the brightness. Sometimes, as your computer starts to, go into not sleep mode necessarily, but after it's been on a while, I've had it happen where I'm like, what the hell's wrong with my screen? And it automatically adjusts the brightness, not in the correct direction for me. But Jake's on, Big Jake from Orlando and from up around the Youngstown area, but he's got a funeral to go to. So sorry about that. Sorry to hear that, Jake. But thanks for tuning in, and we'll probably see you on the flip side. So go Bucks, and prayers to the person you're attending. So. So on National Signing Day, I don't want to go. There's like 27, 28 guys we signed, I think, somewhere in that neighborhood, anywhere between 20. But there's just a couple. If you talk about a couple quick things, and I'm going to ask you about two guys,
Sure.
actually maybe three. Get a quick comment. I'm going to tell you my thought. And I've been a little not pissed off, but I was a little put off, let's say, by Chris Henry Jr. Okay. And I'll tell you why. So the guy, I get this 3-year commitment, and then everybody's throwing arrows at, slinging arrows and trying to, I get all that. Matter of fact, I would prefer if there was like, you couldn't even commit anywhere to within like six months or 6 weeks. I mean, 3 years is a long time to be committed somewhere. But if you've been committed for 3 years, damn it, there shouldn't be a problem in the last 24 hours of signing day. And it was like, oh, well, Jeremiah's calling him, Hartline's calling him, so-and-so's calling him. I'm like, and maybe you saw my little post. When is it time to stop begging? And okay, somebody goes, oh, we're not begging him, we're just calling him. I'm like, we're begging the guy to come and see the value in our program. Then what is going on? And so maybe you got a different opinion on it. I know he's a big guy, 6'5", but he's also got a mentor who has had a less than stellar past. Great football player, Aaron Pac-Man Jones. And he was probably more influential in his life than his father, because his father died when Chris was probably 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah, he's very young.
Yeah, his father died. I looked it up. His father died in 2009. And he's an Ohio kid for the most part. He went to West Claremont out in Batavia, and then he went to Withrow in the inner city in Cincinnati before he went out to Mater D. So he'd been to 3 different high schools. So I just wanted to get. To me, it seemed like he's not the normal fit. That it made me feel like he was more of a me guy than a team guy. What are your thoughts?
I don't know if I blame him as much as I do the timing for Brian Hartline. Brian Hartline has been his main contact at Ohio State. Now, Ryan Day, obviously, as head coach, is also recruiting him. I'm sure Chip Kelly, when he was offensive coordinator, had made a phone call or two. And he knew who he was when he visited in 2024. But Brian Hartline was that guy's main relationship.
Yep.
And when Brian Hartline leaves and you have people throwing money on your doorstep, I would say any 17, 18-year-old kid would hesitate. He didn't just jump at it. He did give himself 48 hours to think about it. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I do understand where you're coming from as well. It's like, then why in the heck did you commit? Well, he was 14 years old when he committed.
No, that part I understand.
Insane.
So, what I've always, in listening to Ryan Day and other people around the program, if money is your sole motivator, then Ohio State is not the place for you to come.
Right.
At least that's what I hear from these
Correct.
guys. If that's, it's got to be the character, it's got to be the program. And actually, interestingly enough, I heard as I was getting ready, I was listening to 97.1, and Tyvis Powell went through a number of coaching changes in his, whether it started with his recruitment by Tress, and then Everett Withers and Chris Ash and Shiano, and there was one other one involved. But he said ultimately, coaches are going to change. Ultimately, for him, it was the program. It was Ohio State, and that's what it came down to.
Yeah,
But
and Ryan Day kind of alluded to that when he said, it's bigger than one person. It's bigger than, Ohio State's bigger than one coach. It's bigger than one
right,
player. It's bigger than one person.
yep,
And I think that is 100% true and accurate statement. And listen, if Chris Henry would have decided to go to Oregon or Texas, who was the other school that apparently was throwing a lot of cash his way,
right,
um, I wouldn't have sit here and cried about it.
right,
Um,
right,
but at the end, because at the end of the day, Ryan Day's right. We are bigger than just one player.
yep,
Um, but he's a significant player in this class, important piece in this class, and I'm glad that he decided he wanted to be a Buckeye. We'll see how he does. If
yeah, yeah,
he comes here
mm,
and he's a diva and he's not ready to play, he's going to sit his butt on the bench. He ain't going to play.
right. If he comes in here, he's got to prove to me. If he comes in here and he's a Jeremiah Smith guy, coming in, go to work, right?
Hmm.
First year, you almost didn't hear 5 words out of Jeremiah Smith. Now he's a little more confident. But yet when he talks today, he talks about he's very savvy. If I say intelligent, people will criticize me for one thing or another, but very savvy in talking about football and about people in general and about the program. So,
Well, I
um,
think he's finding his voice.
right, there's a good one. Finding
Yeah,
his
and
voice.
it usually takes you a season or two in college before you do that. For some kids, it might take longer.
Yep.
Obviously, it didn't hurt that he was one of the biggest reasons why Ohio State won a national championship in his freshman year. That'll help you find a voice rather quickly.
Right. So before I go on to the next one, thanks for that input. You might have helped me. Oh, Mika. So Mika's on. Hi, Mika. Mika says, "Hey, Podfather." Um, uh, LD's on. Hey, gang. Hey, Larry. And Mika said, "Mater D curse broken question mark." So is the
Yeah,
Mater D curse broken mark? I guess that means we've tried to recruit there before and been unsuccessful.
correct. Yeah. I don't know if it is or not because Chris Henry's an Ohio kid.
Right.
Let's get a California kid born and raised in California who goes to Mater Day and see
Yep.
if we can recruit him to Ohio State. Then I
All
would say
right.
the curse is broken.
Yep. All right. The next guy, this is like to me, it's one of the craziest stories there is. It's not the first time I heard something similar where a mother or a parent will not sign for a kid. But we're going to talk about the legend out of Texas, Legend Bay. And the crazy story is he was committed to Tennessee. He decommitted to Ohio State, going to sign with Ohio State. But on signing day, his mother says she's not going to sign. So, first of all, let me go back. He'll be 18 on Christmas Eve, is what I read. Christmas Eve. But as a 17-year-old, he cannot sign the paperwork, right? And so his mother said, "Well, Legend, I'm not signing the paperwork for you to go to Ohio State. You're going to go to Tennessee." And I guess his brother was in favor of Tennessee also.
Yep.
His brother obviously can't sign, but the mother can. But now I see this story that any one of two things. He's trying to get out of his LOI, letter of intent, or LOC, letter of commitment. And then the other thing I see is, which this is kind of hokey the way it works, but an incoming true freshman, the way they were posing it, could actually enter the portal, the transfer portal, when it opens up, in January.
This is
And
true.
so the two rumors are that he's trying to figure out how to get out, and then he can sign on his own on Christmas Eve. There was an original rumor he wasn't going to even he was going to wait, but I guess there's something to do with going to spring ball if you wait. Like I think it was after this weekend because that came up with Henry. Somebody mentioned.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if you don't sign before this end of the week, then the next signing period is not till February, which means you then cannot attend the college of your choice until after the semester, which means then you wouldn't be able to participate in spring ball. So it was one of the reasons why he needed to sign.
Right.
Now, what is crazy about this, and this is just a rumor, don't know if it's true or not. I saw the picture at his high school. You know how they'll set up little booths or it's all decked
I
out
know
in
where you're
Ohio
going.
State stuff.
I
It's
heard
all
that.
all
Yeah.
and literally, apparently his brother and him had a physical altercation over this.
Oh wow.
Yes. And then Legend posts this cryptic AI photo of him and Ryan Day and Coach Locke in
I
front of the
saw that.
horseshoe.
Yeah.
After he signs with
Like they're
Tennessee.
walking in towards the shoe, right? With their
Yeah,
backs. Yeah.
yes, I've got your back.
Right.
Like very cryptic. Um I can't help but assume that Bay's family wanted him to go to Tennessee because there was probably a larger NIL package for him.
Right.
If they are using him for NIL money and that's all they care about, and that's what this is about, shame on them.
I've never heard of such a thing, Boggsy. I've never heard of that.
That
Using
is
one of their children for the betterment of themselves. Todd Marinovich, does that come to mind? No. Oh,
there's a
no. First one
there's a
that comes. That was the first one that came to my mind. But
so long story short here, Legend, I'm assuming after all this went down, has had a conversation with Tennessee. Apparently, Tennessee is able to release him of his letter of intent, and then he can sign with Ohio State. Otherwise, you are correct. He can then portal from Tennessee to Ohio State, which has been done before. This is exactly what Julian Sain did. Julian Sain was signed on campus at Alabama, and then when the portal opened, he left Alabama when Nick Saban retired, came
right.
to Ohio State, and he was a true freshman who had just gotten to Tuscaloosa. So there is precedence for this. What's really sad in all of this is the young man wanted to be a Buckeye, and they stole his moment from him on National Signing Day because of selfish reasons. Shame on that mom. Shame on that brother if that is true.
Yep. So you obviously articulated the Chris Henry Jr. situation well because my brother agrees with you. Mika agrees with you. Nobody's agreed with me yet, but
Oh, that's okay.
and but she said Legend Bay is a story is sad. Yes, it is, and Tennessee should let him out. Yeah, that's the easy answer, Mika. That UT should let him out. But the hard truth is they're probably they're working to convince him that they're the
Stay,
place
yeah.
for him. I guess maybe one of the ways they could keep him, find out, what culture's really like. They could give him Nico's phone number and see how Nico and his dad think. Speaking of using people, but anyway, I digress. So just
You're on a roll
two
today with this one.
two other, yeah. Well, I thought this is like the craziest. I did hear once. It was either a Buckeye or it was a Florida Georgia thing where the parent wouldn't sign. It was a running back somewhere, but I. So one other guy, and then just two overall, and then we'll get to because we got to. This actually is about a game, right? Sincere Johnson, I'm pretty stoked about him coming out of Glenville, number 3 linebacker. Not quite as big as Arvell, but and by the way, Cleveland Glenville just won, I believe it was their third straight championship. Congratulations to Ted Ginn Sr. and the Glenville, um, not the
Hardblooders.
Tarblooders. Tarblooders? They are the Tarblooders. Yep. So Jesse, did Jesse Owens go to Glenville? If he didn't, his cousin Harrison Dillard did.
Mm,
But yeah, back in the day. But anyway, excited about him. But we got a decent number, probably greater than we've had in the previous few years, of offensive and defensive lineman commitments, right?
right.
And does that get you juiced? Is there guys in there
Oh
in the
yeah.
on either side of the ball get
So
you juiced?
so if I were to say Mika is the guru of recruiting for us at the OHL podcast, and she is. I'm the meat and potatoes of the recruiting. I love me some big guys. I It's the first position I run to every year to look at film on is the offense and defensive line, but particularly the offensive line. Um, and I am a huge proponent of Ohio State taking chances on 3-star Ohio kids who are offensive linemen. I think they're built differently. I don't think they get the star ranking or the respect nationally they deserve. How
Mhm.
many 3-star offensive linemen have come to Ohio State and ended up in the NFL as absolute studs? You have to be tough to be an offensive lineman in the state of Ohio. You go and look at the temperature yesterday in Canton, Ohio for those state championship games. It was 20 and 30 degrees, and they're playing out in the elements in that and getting the snot kicked out of them the whole time they're doing it. You have got to be mentally, physically tough to play offensive line in the Midwest. And that expands beyond Ohio, obviously Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. So huge proponent of us taking Ohio kids, number one, because they're tough. Number two, they understand the rivalry. It's in their DNA. I believe, although Michigan was cheating and we all know that, one of the reasons why they were able to beat Ohio State 4 consecutive years, go look at how many Midwest offensive linemen they had. They're just tougher kids.
Yeah. I didn't
I
look
think
at the
Ryan
offensive. Yeah. Go ahead.
I just think Ryan Day's kind of seen the light on that. And we're gonna take more. We're gonna take a lot more, and we'll see if who pans out. Hey, listen, you take 6 offensive linemen, only 3 of them end up being starters. That's only 50%. It's good in my book. You just
Well,
found
that's
three
pretty good.
starting
Yeah.
offensive linemen.
Yeah, that's a pretty good three guys you don't have to look into the portal for.
Exactly.
Um, Interesting. So, hey, you may want to look at comments too. So, if there's things that you may want to comment on,
Sure.
Mika said she's the dessert.
Oh,
She's the dessert.
because she's sweet.
Yeah,
See.
there you go. See, but there was actually an interesting story. I'm trying to think if it was ESPN or Big Ten Network about Carson Hinsman and an old car. What kind of car he drives? He drives like an old Chevy Impala with the paint is oxidized and delaminated, and you know other guys driving nice cars, and that's what he drives. That's what Hinsman drives on a daily basis. But anyway, so there's that. We know coaching Hartline's gone. He's here throughout the playoffs, the championship and the playoffs. Correct.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. Uh, Everybody's got a lot of people have a hankering for when he's actually gone for Chip to come back. I'm not so sure about that. Some of the stories I read about Chip when he's out in Vegas, forgetting some of the play calls and not giving the right formations and different things. But that's another story for another show. But you want to get a quick comment, and then we'll get to the game on Patty Fitz. Did you think? Are you excited about Pat Fitzgerald going to
I
Michigan State?
I am so happy for him. Um, I think, and again, um, this isn't very Buckeye of me because I know we're not supposed to really want to root for Michigan State. I think he's going to be super successful there. I really do. Um, he did more with less at Northwestern within his time there than any other coach I know at any other program.
Yeah.
Maybe Kurt Cignetti at Indiana in the first 2 years, but let's be honest, Kurt Cignetti has got some advantages over what Patty Fitz had at Northwestern. Number one, academic standards nowhere near as high in Bloomington at Indiana as they are in Evanston, Illinois at Northwestern. Number two,
Yep.
he has NIL and transfer portal he could use. Patty Fitz did not have those at Northwestern
Right.
last time he was there. He will now, but I think it's going to take him a few years, but he's going to put together a team that's going to give Michigan fits there because he's going to build a hard nose, down and dirty, blue collar, rub your face in the mud, get up, and I'm going to go at you again type of program. And it's going to give Michigan fits. Let's not sit here and think to ourselves that Michigan owns the state of Michigan from a fan base perspective, and Michigan State is like a Cincinnati to Ohio State. That is not
Well,
the case when you go up there.
speaking of, when Mark D'Antonio was there,
Hmm.
they used to get a lot of guys out of Cincinnati. You
Oh,
mentioned
yes.
there's not, and in fact, one of their big running backs was out of Cincinnati, and he was a beast. This was before Walker because Walker was under Mel Tucker. But
Correct.
yeah, they got a lot of guys out of. I'm like, how the hell are they getting all these guys out of Cincinnati?
Oh, yeah.
And
So,
then
yeah,
Luke went to
D'Antonio,
UC.
do you know what D'Antonio's recruiting pitch was when he was at Michigan State?
I don't.
Literally, Ohio State didn't offer you, come to Michigan State, you can still hate Michigan. And it worked. It worked.
There you
Ohio
go.
kids were like, sign me up. It's the next best thing to being a Buckeye is being a Spartan. That was literally what his recruiting pitch was, and it worked in Ohio. That's why I think if Michigan is not smart about this thing, Patty Fitz is going to do the exact same thing D'Antonio
Yeah.
did. He is going to build his program about recruiting Midwest kids who grew up hating Michigan, who didn't get the offer to Ohio State or Notre Dame, and Michigan State's going to become the next best thing. And listen, that D'Antonio team, hey, he beat Urban Meyer for a Big Ten championship. Let us not forget, Urban Meyer's first Big Ten loss ever came in 2013, the Big Ten championship game against Michigan State. That's a bad omen to mention on a day like this, isn't it? Was that
Yeah,
smart? That
well,
was not
by the
smart
way,
of you.
was D'Antonio still the coach in 2015 in that 17-16
Yes.
washout?
In the rain, yeah.
We were there. My brother Foxy
I
Bob and I
was
were
too.
there.
That was a terrible day.
Oh my God! It was. I kept going. What's going on with
We were in
with
C deck just
Yeah, we were in
let
C. Yep,
oh, it was terrible.
it was brutal. So a couple quick things. Mika sent Tucson back Tucson back to the dark ages. Ted Ginn for wide receiver coach. That's a story. That's a show for another time, Mika. We could talk about assistants and maybe get you on and have you talk about who you think some of the assistants would be. And then, merch promotion. Don't forget to talk about your merch. And then my brother says, not at all. Most are MSU fans. Maybe expound on that. I don't know. All right, here we go. Let's go to the game because I'm learning in media that I don't start with what people want to hear. We start with the other stuff and, keep them around. So at least that's what the news does to me. They keep teasing crap at 6 o'clock in the morning, and they don't have it until 8. Speaking of 8, the game tonight, the Big Ten Championship, it's on Fox. It's 8 p.m. Got to pace myself. That's why I've got no Billy Bob Bud Light just right.
Yeah. No day drinking for Billy Bob, huh? Not
Well,
today,
maybe a little, but in moderation. And that's a oxymoron for me.
Make sure you have
Lucas,
some water to chase it down with, buddy.
yes, Lucas Oil Stadium. We don't have to worry about the weather. It's 72 degrees. 67,000 seats. So more than Indiana holds, a lot less than Ohio State holds. I've heard, and whether it's you, Boggsy, or others, anywhere between 80-20 IU fans to 70-30 to 65-35 to your buddy Sam on the huddle. Think he originally thought 50-50, which I was like, really? And there is a big game. I didn't realize until in the afternoon, Indiana, IU there in Indianapolis at the so interesting. The ESPN matchup predictor, I don't know how they do this, if it's analytics or what. They have IU at 50.7% win, Ohio State 49.3. The odds, Ohio State's a 5.5-point favorite as of an hour or two ago, and the over-under is 46.5. Thoughts on that before we go further?
I took Ohio State in the points. I took the over as well. I do think Indiana is a very good football team. I think Indiana is going to keep this game much closer than a lot of Ohio State fans are going to be comfortable with. I do think Ohio State has some advantages, and if they exploit those advantages, they should win, and they will win. And there's no reason to think they won't. But this is an Indiana team that is highly motivated. This is an Indiana team that is riding a wave of excitement and confidence, and dare I even say, an Indiana team that feels somewhat magical. I mean, I don't want to compare Ohio State and Indiana, but I will here in a second. Ohio State 2002, second year under Jim Tressel, kind of a team of destiny. Indiana, second year under Kurt Signetti. No one thought they would do what they did last year. They did, and have done it better. Kind of a team of destiny, feeling like a little bit from Indiana fans.
Oh man, don't. Well, but this is yeah. Now, yeah. Okay. We'll
Yeah,
just say yeah.
exactly. I don't want to do it, but I'm just saying that's kind of what the jive I'm getting from Hoosier fans here. I mean, shoot, you got two podcasters who are comparing Kurt Signetti to their Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That's literally what they said.
Mm,
I mean, that's wild to think about, but that's where they are at right now. Of course, we all hold sweater vest into almost that same category. You know, it's God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Ghost, and God the coach Jim Tressel. So I mean, that's
right.
so that's kind of how we look at it. At least I do in my house with Jim Tressel.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be an incredibly awesome game. It's 1 versus 2. That's this should be, Lenny, in all um this should be the most talked about game in college football today, and it's getting ignored.
It's getting a little more pub here recently. When I say recently, today, there's ESPN's given it a little more, but obviously the focus because of where they are down in Atlanta, the SEC uh, is getting the lion's share. Um, uh, and I haven't watched the Big Ten or the Fox Big Noon show, only because I actually think McAfee is funny and Saban is very interesting to listen to. So, not that Urban isn't, but but yes, it should be the by far. I mean, not
Yeah.
only you mentioned in talking to Sam, there are multiple storylines in this game, not
Hmm.
just one against two, not just a Big Ten championship, a Heisman Trophy potential. Um,
Yeah.
although I'd rather see us win the game and somebody else win, but if we could win and Julian wins, as long as he doesn't gain the banquet 10 or 15 that Troy Smith gained between the last game and the championship game.
Yeah. Right. No kidding. Game within the game here, Billy Bob. Let's can we do that for a second? So I was on
Absolutely.
yesterday. I was the guest host or guest on the Clemson Football Live as they were previewing the championship, Ohio State and Indiana Big Ten championship game. And there's a lot of huge names in this, right? Fernando Mendoza, Julian
Yep.
Sane, Surratt, their receiver, is really good, and Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, coming off the big win over the team up north. Indiana going undefeated throughout their season, going out to Eugene and beating the Ducks, and going to Happy Valley and beating Penn State with a last second a miracle Heisman moment. I go
Right.
all of that. I go forget all of that. Concentrate on the trenches. The one
Yep.
thing Indiana does really, really, really good offensively is RPOs. And when we have gone up against dual threat quarterbacks this year, the thing that Matt Patricia has done with this defense has caged him, meaning we're going to rush you, but we're going to rush you with the idea of keeping you in the pocket
Yep.
and force you to throw the football and beat us with your arm. It happened against Texas. It happened against Washington. It happened against there was another
Illinois with Luke Altmaier.
Altmaier, right? Although he did throw for over 200 yards against us, but a lot of it was trash yards in the fourth quarter. After
Oh wow, 200 yards.
well,
That was sarcasm.
yeah, but he had the best passing game against this defense in this
Yes.
year. And Indiana, by the way, trounced Illinois. Mendoza, though, is different to me. And if we just sit there and try to cage him and we don't get enough pressure on him, I think he's good enough to pick you apart.
Well, he's got the receivers that are good enough too, between Surratt and Cooper. Big kids, 6'2",
Yeah.
both 6'2", 6'3", I think, in there. But
So we
yeah,
can't just say you can't beat us with your arm. He can.
right.
He can.
And he did.
And
He did beat some guys with it. So.
Yeah. So we're going to have to be very smart in how we go about this. I'm incredibly interested to see what Matty Patricia draws up here. I think Indiana's going to have more success offensively against us than any other team has had this year. However, flip it to the other side of the ball. I have to see an encore from this offensive line. They played out of their minds in Ann Arbor last week. Dominated that football game. If we can do the same thing in this game, advantage Ohio State. Indiana has been, according to TG, one of my co-hosts, shout out TG,
Yep.
Indiana has been susceptible to the big play this year. Well, you're not going to find guys who can make bigger plays than what you're going to find on Ohio State. And the way we ran the ball last week with Bo Jackson, if we can do that again, and with the passing attack that we have, given Julian Saint's accuracy, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis, Max Clare, Ohio State should put up more points than enough to win this game. I got us winning this football game 31-27.
And I heard that, and that's why I knew why you took the over.
Yeah. So because it was 3, what was it? 4 points this it's come down to 4.
5.5 is what it was about a couple hours ago.
And I think when I was on my bookie, I got it at 4. So I took
I
the
don't
over.
have a bookie, Eric,
Oh.
so I just looked at ESPN.
You should get my bookie. Put in promo code
yes.
OHIO.
Go ahead.
No,
Give him.
Okay.
I mean, I'm surprised Mika hasn't said, "Bring up my bookie."
Yeah.
Stop.
Talk about
stop
my
the
merch,
run. Yes.
Godfather.
Target. Yep. Target to the right side of the O line. Stop the contain. Target the right side of the O line.
Yeah, so
I guess that's meaning
their right
Indiana's
guard,
O-line.
right tackle is their weakness on their offensive line. She's saying defensively that is a weakness of theirs that we can exploit by rushing on that side of the ball.
Now, I was looking at some stats here, and I think based on what I know and what you talked about, we know Ohio State is very methodical in their running clock on the play clock, right? In fact, what I didn't know, but I think I heard you say earlier, when I was listening to you, they are number one is for running the most clock. in the country,
At
like a
number one.
little over 30 seconds, 31 seconds, somewhere in there.
Right.
And IU is a direct opposite, the polar opposite, where they are the fastest or the fourth fastest,
Fastest team in the
fastest.
country. Yeah. They're
So
basically playing Oregon's style,
yeah, they're
or
running
the
up
old Oregon style.
tempo. We're
Hmm.
running methodical. Um, we run on average about 60 plays a game, 60, 61. They run about 70. That equates to 10 times, that's 120. That's about two more games played, almost two more games played. However, ironically, the Buckeyes last week ran 74 or 75 plays, running the
It's
ball 43.
because we were so great on third down, we just kept
I know.
12-minute drive will do that for you.
Uh, Mika said she said that on the Buckeye ladies. Sorry, Mika. I so yes, there. So when did you look this up? Did any of you guys, Mika, Podfather? When was the last time Ohio State had a 20 play drive? Do we know?
I did not look that up. Do you know?
I don't. No,
Oh,
I was.
it's been a long time. It's got to be because
I
that was.
mean, roughly 12 minutes, 11 minutes, 56 seconds, 20 plays, and it was there only one pass play in that.
I
One?
think so. Like it was very much run heavy. And what
Yeah.
was really funny about all of that is after the game, they asked Ryan Day about that, and he was highly disappointed that they didn't come away with a touchdown on that drive. He was
Well,
like, yeah, I mean, that's the coach in him, right? Like,
right.
I got to find something to be mad at. I guess we ran a.
Well, that's the difference between him this year and maybe the end of last year versus previous years. He's always looking. He, I love. He coaches to the very end of a game. I mean,
Yeah.
last few seconds of the game. I mean, if he's hit a play with 30 seconds to go, I know. I keep seeing that for some reason my connection is kind of. I froze a little bit there. So hopefully it didn't affect you there, Podfather.
Well, when you did freeze Billy Bob, it was on your good side.
Oh, I have one of those, huh? That's
Yeah.
sweet. That's sweet.
If you don't know
So,
which one, just ask your wife. She'll let you know.
yeah, hmm, maybe I'll just leave that alone. Um, any other? We're coming up on an hour here. I like to keep it a little bit tighter, but I'm the one running my mouth. So, is there anything else? So, Mendoza's not a big runner, but he can run, right? He's a big kid, 6'5". Um, Seems to be very poised, just like saying. Doesn't seem to get overly rattled. Seems to his demeanor on the sideline seems to be pretty calm. Um, when you look at stats, you and Chris were talking about. When you look at stats, they're almost equal, or Indiana's a little better in a lot of them, but because they're running 10 more plays a game or 120 more plays in a season, their stats are a little more
Skewed. Yeah.
maybe they're tighter together. But one of the things you guys were talking about was yards per play. I didn't go look that up either. That's not in your normal grid of stats. So I don't know if you looked that up since then or not.
I have not.
Okay.
I don't have it on. I don't have that one on top of my head, but I just I feel like in this game, this is the type of game where, um, and here's the thing too. You can't even sit here and say, "Well, Ohio State's more experienced." We've not played in this game since 2020.
Right.
We are more experienced in post game. For having played
Right.
four postseason games last year. But here's the one thing I can't get out of my mind is Ryan Day purposely said we've not had our foot on the gas this season. And he said when the time is right, we'll push the gas.
Right.
And then last week they didn't really push the gas, but again they didn't have to again. When will be the time when we see the entire offense unleashed in a way that we saw in the postseason last year. Is this the game? Maybe. And if it is, does that spell really bad news for Indiana? And we're going to jump out on them and it's going to be a blowout. And everybody's going to be talking like, oh, well, Indiana ain't it. They didn't play nobody, but,
Yeah,
is Ohio
but they
State just that
did.
good?
They did play a few teams.
Yes, they have. Like I said, they went into Eugene. They beat Oregon. They beat Penn State in Beaver Stadium. They beat Iowa in Kinnick. Those are
Right.
three incredibly difficult road games that they all won
Yep.
this year.
Yep.
But this is a different animal. Ohio State is a different animal, and I'll say this: if it's a blowout, it'll be Ohio State blowing out Indiana. Otherwise, buckle up, get ready for a dogfight. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Okay. So I'll say we didn't talk much about their defense. I'll just say they got two pretty good linebackers, um, Lewis something and Fisher. What's the other guy? Isaiah Jones. Isaiah Jones and Fisher, Aiden Fisher. I guess. So last thing I have is I have this visual, and I've seen the video more recently of Will Howard on the sideline taking his SIG, throwing it down, faking that he had his SIG, throwing it down and kind of smushing it out.
Yeah.
So, and they show Signetti's face. Remember? Yeah. I believe Kurt Signetti's the kind of guy that 30 years from now, he'll remember that shit.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he's got that just the way he did it and just seeing his demeanor. I think he may not say it to his players, but I think he's got it in his mind that I'll show those SOBs. And maybe I give him too much credit. What we do know, whether we Google it or not, he's a pretty good coach or has been for the last few years.
Ryan Day told you all to Google it if you hadn't already.
Right.
Here, don't forget, when he grabbed the microphone at the Indiana basketball game when he was introduced as head coach, and he said his final statement was, Purdue sucks, Michigan sucks, and Ohio State sucks.
And Ohio State sucks. Yep.
So he found out last year we don't. He might have beat the other two, but he didn't beat us. And you're right. You're absolutely right, Billy Bob. He ain't going to forget Will Howard's little moment of celebratory at his behalf.
Right.
He's gonna come into this game with wanting some blood. This is a dogfight. I'm telling you, this feels like it's gonna be a dogfight.
So Mika, no, I'm not related to Sue Szabo that I know of, although Szabo in Hungarian is like Smith in America. That's, so there's a lot of Szabos. Some drop the S, some drop the Z, like maybe most famous Chris Szabo for the Cincinnati Redlegs. But anyway, that's all I got. Boggsy, is there anything? Yeah, I called it, put that SIG out. Yes. Thank you, Mika. We're going to try and put the SIG out. Any last thoughts, Boggsy, or are you?
You brought
never out of thoughts.
Yeah, you brought up Sincere Johnson. I didn't get a chance to tell you how much I love this kid.
Yep. Go for it.
Northeast Ohio linebacker. Every year, and I'll be getting ready to do this again as soon as season's over. I dive into the recruiting class, and I pick 5 kids who I call fabulous freshmen. 5 fabulous freshmen. Ohio State ended up getting 4 out of the 5 that I think are the 5 best freshmen in the country for Ohio State. Let me clarify. Not the 5 best in the country, 5 best for Ohio State.
Right.
We got 4 out of the 5.
Who do we get? Give him. Well,
sure.
Sincere.
Sincere was on that list. He was
okay. Go ahead.
Chris Henry Jr. was on that list. We had Greer, the offensive lineman from Akron. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the other offensive lineman's name that we got from here from Ohio. My gosh.
Wilhelm?
No.
No, not
This
Will.
kid's top five. Mika
The
will.
kid from Menor?
No.
Okay, hold
I
on.
gotta look it up now because
No,
now it's killing
that's
me. Mika's gonna be yell. She's probably yelling at her laptop right now at me. How can you forget this kid's name, Eric? Let me go
let's
jump on it
see.
here real fast.
Here we go. Oh, no, that's not it. I
I
had
got
it
you. I got you. I
here.
got you. Here we go.
Oh,
Maxwell Riley. Gee, many Christmas from Avon Lake. Maxwell
right
Riley
on
is
Lake. No,
the fourth one, and then yep,
Maxwell.
Maxwell Riley out of Avon Lake.
Yep. So Avon, not Avon Lake, but Avon High
Right,
School beat Anderson
won a state
last night.
championship. Yep. So those were 4 out of the 5. The fifth one was a cornerback. He ended up going somewhere else. I think he ended up going to USC. But we got 4 out of the 5. That list will be coming out in January again for 2027 kids. And here's what's crazy, Billy Bob. The 2027 kids will be seniors next year. They're juniors this year. My stepson is in the 2029 class. A lot more of this is going to be coming out.
Oh, Xander will be in the 2029 class.
Shout out to Xander. He got to play varsity his freshman year at Delaware Hayes. Same high school
Nice.
as Favor Key, who's a Buckeye.
So Jameer Perez too. Mika said so. Yeah, good deal. So I'll leave you with. There's a story that I posted last week. Watched a kid on the sidelines this week. When you see the guy in the yellow vest, his name is Nolan Botto. He went to high school with Carnell Tate. He was actually a pretty good wide receiver on the same team Tate was. He walked down at Ohio State based on the encouragement of Carnell Tate's mother to go to school with Carnell and be buddies here at Ohio State. So they call him the glue guy. And if you want to know more about him, it's a good story. You can search on the Backyard Barbecue page. But Nolan Botto, number 23, he's the kid in the yellow vest signaling a lot of plays. So
that's cool.
My little tidbit for the end. So before I get to our normal end, I guess we will say, let's hope for a great game tonight and a big Buckeye win. And on that note, I would say, OH.
IO.
America, land of the free because of the brave. Stay focused, America. Billy Bob, peace out. Thanks, Boggsy.
You're welcome, buddy.